Hey there, welcome to the Astro Psyche. I'm Shawna, your astrologer, and this is your weekly astrology for February 27th through March 5th. So this week we are starting off with a first quarter moon in Gemini on Monday. And so this means that all week we are still in the waxing phase of the lunar cycle. The waxing phase is when the moon is appearing to be brighter and brighter in the sky. And this symbolizes taking action, moving forward, and it has this extroverted energy to it. So you may be feeling that week, and you can work with the lunar cycle to continue to take action, to make plans, and to do the things that you need to do in the practical world. Now, I want you to keep in mind that we are building toward the full moon in Virgo next week. So not this week, but next week on Tuesday, March 7th, we'll have a full moon in Virgo. And on that same day, Saturn will also move into Pisces. So it's really interesting because we have the full moon in Virgo, Pisces is the sign opposite Virgo, and Saturn's going to be moving into that sign right when we have this full moon. So even though that's next week, it feels like we're building toward that energy. We're building toward that culmination point. A full moon is a culmination. And the lunations, the full moon and the new moon, they're not these, they're not like a light switch. It's like the tides. There's this building up and then a cresting, and then a receding back down. So we're in the building up phase. And that feels really important because the lunar cycle is connecting in with Saturn's ingress into Pisces. So Saturn is moving from Aquarius to Pisces. I may make a whole entire video about this because it's very important. Saturn has been in Aquarius from April of 2020, and it's moving into Pisces next week, March 7th, 2023. Saturn will be in Pisces from March 2023 until February 2026. So this is like a big change, and it's something that's going to continue to elaborate and grow and develop over the next 3 years. And so we're feeling into that change and that movement this week. And then next week we'll begin Saturn's initiation from that area of life, which is Aquarius, which is more about thinking and logic and structures, into Pisces, which is more about states of being. And this is going to be a big change for each of us individually because it means that Saturn is moving from one house, from one area of your life into another area of your life for an entire 3-year period. So more on that in another video. But just know that there's this kind of like culminating, building energy kind of feeling. Now, this is heightened because we also have a Mercury-Saturn aspect. But before I get to that part, there's this other aspect that's very different, that feels very light and buoyant. So we may have kind of a mix of energy here. We have Venus in Aries conjunct Jupiter in Aries. So they're together, and they've both been in Aries for a little bit, but they're coming together exactly this week. And this is a very beautiful, benefic, harmonious aspect because Venus is about social things, beauty, relationships, love, sexuality, money, even self-worth to a certain extent. So Venus is all of the things that we love, that we're attracted to, that we love to love. Venus can also be things that that we find off-putting or repulsive, because that's like the polarity of the attraction. And then Jupiter is about inclusion, growth, expansion, justice. And when these two come together, it's a very creative and socially responsive kind of aspect. So So you may just be feeling really good, especially in an Aries kind of way, where this may be conducive to being direct and taking, I feel like I want to say like taking social risks, where you're like wanting something, or you want to connect with someone, or you want to take some creative action or make a request, and then the Venus Jupiter gives that kind of oomph, that that push to ask for it, to go after it. And again, just like a very benefic and auspicious aspect in general. So I want you to keep in mind that that is happening this week, amidst, you know, in the context also of this big Saturn transition that's happening, that there is a lot of social grace here. Now, Mercury and Saturn are coming together. So Mercury and Saturn are going to be conjunct in Aquarius right before Saturn moves into Pisces. So this is really interesting. It feels like it adds to this kind of like buildup and concentration, where it's like that last moment that Saturn is in Aquarius, we get to really think about it. Mercury is the mind, the thought process, communication, contracts, business. Mercury is also our intuition and divination, and how we make contact with something that, with psyche, essentially. It's symbolic communication. And Saturn is focus, concentration, limits. It is about the material, finite world. And so Mercury and Saturn coming together, it's going to depend on your life and your birth chart and what's going on for you, how this manifests. For some, it's going to be an opportunity or a feeling of like really concentrating on something and like really honing in on the details and your to-do list, the shit that you need to get done like now, like this week. Again, I feel there's almost like this sense of urgency that we may feel because it is Saturn at the very last portion of Aquarius. And you can also even use this aspect this week as an opportunity to reflect on everything that you've been through since Saturn moved into Aquarius in April 2020 to now. I know that, you know, collectively, this has been a major transformation for all of us, and individually, we've each had our own unique experience of this phase of life. And so what has this been like for you? What are the things that you have struggled with, that you've learned? How has your relationship to responsibility and commitment and devotion, how has that changed over this period? And then I want you to know also, this is all Saturn stuff. I want you to know that, so Saturn is also about initiations. It's about the things that we go through in a way that is intensely committed and highly devotional. And sometimes we go through that process intentionally. Sometimes we're sort of dragged into it, where it feels like it's against our will. So whether this is committing to a mode of study or caretaking for someone, or taking on additional responsibilities in your role as a parent, a worker, a student, etc. All of these experiences where we commit in a very devotional sort of way, where we're in it and we show up consistently. This is an initiation, and this builds strength and confidence, ideally. And those things, no one can take away from you. Those experiences, the growth and confidence that you have built through those experiences, those are Saturn-like. Those are foundational. Those are inside of you. And even the challenging experiences and the fucked up experiences, there is something inside of you that has grown and changed and transformed. And so you're taking that with you. You're taking that personal growth And you're moving forward with Saturn into Pisces, and there will be new experiences, and they will be very different from the ones that you've experienced before. So my point in telling you that is that you are changed with every Saturn transit, with every movement of Saturn from one sign to another, or any transit really. We experience deep change. We take that change with us, and then we also allow for what has been done to be done. And it's sort of like this crossing of a threshold. And so that feels really, I realize that's a long explanation, but that feels really important to share while we have Mercury conjunct Saturn this week, because I think that one of the grooves that we can get into with Mercury Saturn is to focus sometimes maybe on the negative, or to feel sort of low, whether that's low energy or low mood. And I want you to know that this is just a brief period of time, and that you're essentially in the portal of change now. We're in the Saturn transitional portal because it is so close to moving into Pisces next week. And so to notice what you're thinking about, notice what memories and reflections are coming up, and to be gentle with yourself, and to know that that you're doing a good job, and you're doing the best that you can in every single moment. So with that, we'll pull some tarot cards for you. So this will be about this coming week. So I'm pulling 3 cards. So, okay, I feel like this is the classic Saturn card. So this is the 5 of Pentacles. It has 2 people that are outside a building. It's like, almost looks like a stained glass window kind of thing in the building. And so this card is about struggle, and like moving through a very intensive and difficult kind of situation. Since this is the first card, I feel like this is speaking to walking, like, I want to say walking away from anything that has been really challenging. And again, just emphasizing that, like, letting go of the coldness. In the image, there's also snow. It's snowing, and Saturn is about coldness, either of emotional temperament or physically. So this feels like a reminder to acknowledge the challenges that you've had, so that you can process them and compost them. I also pulled, as the second card, the Emperor. And it has this this figure that's sitting on the throne, and he's holding this staff kind of thing. It's like a scepter or something like that. So this card is about you being, this card is also very Saturn-like too. This card is about you being the authority in your life, having control, autonomy, and power, and knowing that you always have autonomy over your inner self, that is always there within you. And then the last card, the third card, is the Ace of Wands. So and it has this image of a hand coming out from the clouds with this wand, and the wand is like a wood stick, basically, that has all of these little leaves that are sprouting from it. And there's this castle and a stream in the background. So this card is about new things, initiating, of course. The Ace is the first is the first card of each suit. And so it's about, it has a new moon kind of energy to me. The Ace of Wands is about something new being brought in, that it's like you don't even know what it is yet in its eventual form. And so this is like new possibilities, new opportunities, especially around things of career or passion or initiating new things. And so this week it feels like the focus is on processing past experiences in order for you to feel that you have a sense of power, control, and autonomy. And from that place, then there is new growth. Really beautiful. I hope you enjoyed this. I'm sending you lots of love and wishes of grace and happiness and joy and ease throughout this week. For a personal reading, you can find out more information on my website that's linked below. And I'm sending you lots of love until next week. Bye.